Parents wanted my younger brother to manage my grandfather's business, but I was chosen. Later, when they wanted to cancel my engagement party for my brother's graduation party, but I refused. I, 28M, have always felt like the black sheep in my family. Growing up in a bustling suburban neighborhood, our house was always filled with the sound of my parents praising my younger brother Owen, 25M, while criticizing me. This pattern started when I was very young and only intensified as we grew older. I remember my 5th birthday party vividly. My parents had organized a small gathering with a few of my friends from kindergarten. As I was opening my presents, Owen, who was only 2 at the time, toddled over and grabbed one of my new toys. Instead of gently redirecting him, my mom cooed over how adorable he was and let him keep it. When I protested, my dad scolded me for not sharing and being a good big brother. That set the tone for our childhood. Throughout elementary school, I worked hard to earn my parents' approval. I joined the math club, played soccer, and consistently brought home excellent grades. But no matter what I achieved, it was never enough. If I scored 95% on a test, they'd ask why it wasn't 100%. If I won 2nd place in a science fair, they'd wonder aloud why I couldn't have gotten 1st. Meanwhile, Owen could do no wrong in their eyes. When he struggled with reading in 2nd grade, my parents hired expensive tutors and praised him endlessly for every small improvement. When he got into trouble for fighting at school, they defended him fiercely, blaming the other kids for provoking him. Our family owns a successful manufacturing business that my grandfather started from scratch 50 years ago. It's been a huge source of pride and wealth for our family. The company, Greenfield Industries, started as a small workshop in my grandfather's garage, where he built custom furniture. Over the years, it expanded into manufacturing a wide range of home and office furnishings, becoming one of the largest employers in our state. My parents both work there, with my dad as the CFO and my mom heading up HR. From a young age, it was assumed that Owen would eventually take over running the company when my grandfather retired. I can still hear my dad's voice at family dinners, raising a glass to Owen, our future CEO, while I sat quietly, feeling invisible. Despite the constant comparisons and criticism, I developed a genuine passion for engineering and product design. I spent countless hours in our garage, tinkering with old appliances and building elaborate Lego structures. My grandfather noticed my interest and would often sit with me, sharing stories about the early days of the company and teaching me about different manufacturing processes. When it came time for college, I chose to study mechanical engineering at a prestigious university across the country. Part of me was excited about the opportunity, but another part felt like I was being pushed out of the family business. My parents seemed relieved to have me out of the way, focusing all their attention on preparing Owen for his destiny as the future leader of Greenfield Industries. College was a transformative experience for me. For the first time, I was judged on my own merits, not in comparison to my brother. I thrived academically and socially, making close friends, and even starting a small robotics club. During my senior year, I led a team that won a national engineering competition with our innovative design for an energy-efficient manufacturing robot. After graduation, I was offered several job opportunities with leading tech companies. However, I made the difficult decision to return home and work for our family company in the R&D department. Despite years of feeling overlooked, I still felt a deep connection to the business my grandfather had built. Plus, a small part of me hoped that by proving myself within the company, I might finally earn my parents' respect. Over the past 5 years, I've led several successful projects and helped develop some of our most profitable new product lines. One of my proudest achievements was designing a new line of eco-friendly office furniture that has been a huge hit with environmentally conscious companies. The line has not only boosted our profits, but also significantly reduced our carbon footprint. Despite my contributions, my parents continued to dismiss my accomplishments and focus all their attention on Owen. After college, Owen joined the company, but has struggled to find his footing. He's bounced between different departments, never really excelling anywhere. But my parents make endless excuses for him and insist he just needs more time to find his niche. I still remember the day Owen crashed the company car after a liquid lunch with clients. Instead of holding him accountable, my parents blamed the other driver and even suggested giving Owen a bonus for building client relationships. It was infuriating to watch, especially considering how they'd react if I made even a minor mistake. Last month, my 80-year-old grandfather called a family meeting to discuss succession planning for the company. We all gathered in the formal living room of his sprawling Victorian home, the same room where he'd first shared his dream of starting a business with my grandmother over 50 years ago. To everyone's shock, he announced that he had decided to name me as his successor to take over as CEO when he retires next year. The room fell silent for a moment before erupting into chaos. My grandfather explained that he had been quietly observing both Owen and me over the years, and he felt I had demonstrated the skills, work ethic, and vision needed to lead the company into the future. My parents immediately exploded with anger. My mom, her face red with fury, started yelling at my grandfather, saying he was making a huge mistake. My dad, always more calculated, tried to argue logically why Owen was the better choice, citing his business degree and natural leadership skills. They insisted that Owen was the right choice and that I would run the company into the ground. My mom was in tears, dramatically wailing about how this would destroy the family. My dad threatened to quit his job if I was put in charge. Throughout all of this, I just sat there in stunned silence. Part of me was thrilled that my grandfather had recognized my hard work and abilities, but another part of me felt sick at how viciously my parents were reacting. Owen also seemed shocked, but didn't say much, just staring at the floor with a mixture of confusion and disappointment on his face. My grandfather, showing the same determination that had built Greenfield Industries from nothing, refused to back down. He said his decision was final and that he had already discussed it with the board of directors who supported his choice. He told my parents they needed to accept it and start treating me with more respect as the future leader of the company. Since that meeting, things have been incredibly tense. My parents are barely speaking to me. When they do, it's only to make snide comments or try to convince me to turn down the CEO role. They've been love-bombing Owen, constantly praising him and trying to boost his ego. At work, the atmosphere is unbearable. My dad has started bypassing me on important financial decisions, dealing directly with lower-level managers instead. My mom has been spreading rumors among the staff, hinting that big changes are coming once Owen inevitably takes over. It's clear they're trying to undermine my authority before I even officially step into the role. I'm hurt by their behavior, but also angry. I've worked hard to prove myself, and I'm not going to let them bully me out of this opportunity. My grandfather believes in me, and I'm determined not to let him down. I'm not sure how to navigate this family drama moving forward. Part of me wants to just focus on learning the ropes of running the company and ignore my parents' tantrum. But it's hard when we all work together. Any advice on how to handle this situation would be appreciated. Update. It's been about 2 months since my last post, and unfortunately, things have only gotten more complicated with my family. Shortly after the succession announcement, I proposed to my girlfriend Claire, 27F. We've been dating for 3 years, having met at a charity gala for local businesses. Claire works as an environmental lawyer, and we bonded over our shared passion for sustainability in business. She's been my rock through all the family drama, always encouraging me to stand up for myself. I proposed during a weekend hiking trip to the mountains, where we had our first date. I had been planning it for months, even designing the ring myself with the help of a local jeweler. It featured a lab-grown diamond set in recycled gold, perfectly aligned with our values. When Claire said yes, I felt like the luckiest man alive. We decided to have our engagement party on June 15th at the Blue Ridge Resort, a beautiful, eco-friendly retreat about an hour outside of town. We picked that date because it worked best for most of our friends and Claire's family who would be traveling from out of state. The resort held special meaning for us as we had volunteered there last year, helping to plant trees as part of their reforestation project. We sent out invitations and started making arrangements. I was excited to celebrate our love with the people who matter most to us. Even though things were tense with my immediate family, I still invited my parents and Owen, hoping they might set aside their resentment for one day to share in our happiness. About 2 weeks ago, my mom called me in a rage. She demanded that we change the date of our engagement party, because Owen's college graduation ceremony is also on June 15th. I was confused because I thought Owen had graduated last year. Apparently, he had failed some classes and had to do an extra year to finish his degree. This news didn't really surprise me. Owen had always struggled academically, relying on our parents' connections and donations to get into a good college. I remember how they hired tutors and even tried to pressure his professors when he was in danger of failing. It was a stark contrast to their hands-off approach to my education, where they expected perfection but offered little support. My mom insisted that we reschedule our engagement party so it wouldn't conflict with Owen's graduation. She said it was selfish of us to steal Owen's spotlight on his big day. I pointed out that we had already sent invitations and put down non-refundable deposits for the venue and catering. My mom didn't care. She said Owen's graduation was more important than my little party, and that Claire and I could just celebrate another time. I was furious. This was just another example of my parents prioritizing Owen over me. I told my mom that we would not be changing our plans. Our engagement party would go on as scheduled. My mom started screaming at me, calling me selfish and inconsiderate. She threatened that if we didn't change the date, she and my dad wouldn't attend. I stood my ground and refused to give in to her manipulation. I said they were welcome to attend both events if they wanted, but we would not be rescheduling. My mom hung up on me. Over the next week, I got a barrage of angry calls and texts from my parents and Owen. They all tried different tactics to pressure me into changing the date: guilt trips, threats, fake compromise offers. My dad even hinted that my position in the company might be in jeopardy if I didn't comply. I ignored most of it and stayed firm in my decision. What really infuriated them is that most of our extended family and family friends have RSVP'd yes to our engagement party instead of going to Owen's graduation. I guess they'd rather celebrate a happy occasion than sit through a long, boring ceremony. My parents are livid that Owen won't have a big audience for his achievement. My Aunt Linda, my mom's sister, called me to explain why she chose our engagement party. She said she was tired of the way my parents always favored Owen, and that it was about time someone celebrated my happiness. Her words meant more to me than I could express. Claire has been incredibly supportive through all of this. She offered to change the date to keep the peace, but I refused. I'm tired of always having to sacrifice my happiness for Owen. This is our special day, and we deserve to celebrate it how we want. The engagement party is in 2 weeks, and I'm actually looking forward to it now. We've planned a beautiful event that reflects our values, with locally sourced organic catering and decorations made from recycled materials. It will be nice to be surrounded by people who actually care about me and want to celebrate my relationship. If my parents and Owen choose not to come, that's on them. I'm done catering to their ridiculous demands. For once, I'm putting myself first, and it feels both terrifying and liberating. Update. It's been about a month since my last update, and a lot has happened. Our engagement party was absolutely wonderful. The Blue Ridge Resort looked stunning, decorated with fairy lights and wildflowers. The weather cooperated, giving us a perfect sunny day with a cool breeze from the mountains. Claire looked breathtaking in a vintage dress she had altered to fit her perfectly. When I saw her walking towards me, surrounded by our loved ones, I felt overcome with emotion. It was a moment I'll cherish forever. The food was delicious, all locally sourced and organic, just as we'd planned. We had lawn games set up for the kids and playful adults, and in lieu of gifts, we asked guests to donate to a local environmental charity. The whole day felt like a beautiful reflection of our relationship and values. As expected, my parents and Owen did not attend. They chose to go to his graduation ceremony instead. Honestly, their absence didn't dampen our joy at all. If anything, it was a relief not to have to deal with their negativity and drama. What we didn't expect was that almost none of our extended family or family friends went to Owen's graduation either. Out of our 150 guests, probably 50 were relatives or close family friends who chose our event over Owen's. My cousin told me later that there were only about 20 people at Owen's post-graduation celebration, mostly just my parents and a few of Owen's college friends. Apparently my parents and Owen are furious about this. They've been bad-mouthing me to anyone who will listen, saying I deliberately sabotaged Owen's big day. They're especially mad at our grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins who came to the engagement party instead of the graduation. But here's the thing. I didn't ask or expect anyone to choose our event over Owen's. We simply sent out invitations and people made their own choices. I think it speaks volumes that so many people preferred to celebrate with us rather than attend yet another graduation ceremony for Owen. In the weeks since the engagement party, my parents and Owen have completely stopped speaking to me. They're giving me the silent treatment at work and ignoring all my calls and messages. At first I was hurt, but now I'm realizing how peaceful my life is without their constant criticism and drama. I've thrown myself into learning more about running the company. My grandfather has been an incredible mentor, patiently teaching me about all aspects of the business. We've been having weekly lunch meetings where he shares stories about the challenges he faced in the early days of the company and how he overcame them. I'm more excited than ever to take on the CEO role next year. One of the first initiatives I want to implement is a comprehensive sustainability plan. I've been working with our R&D team to develop more eco-friendly manufacturing processes and products. It's challenging work, but I believe it's crucial for the long-term success of the company. Claire and I have started planning our wedding for next summer. We're thinking of having it at the same resort where we had our engagement party. The staff there were so wonderful to work with, and we love the idea of supporting a business that aligns with our values. This time, we won't be sending invitations to my parents or Owen. I'm done trying to include people in my life who clearly don't want to be there. Some relatives have tried to guilt me into reconciling with my parents and brother. My Aunt Karen, always the family peacemaker, called me last week to suggest a family therapy session. She means well, but she doesn't understand that I'm not interested in forcing a reconciliation. I'm not the one who started this rift. I'm just finally standing up for myself and refusing to be treated like a second-class member of my own family. At work, things have been tense but manageable. My dad has stopped coming to board meetings, sending a junior executive in his place. My mom has taken an extended leave of absence from her HR role. In a way, their absence has made it easier for me to start implementing some of the changes I believe the company needs. I've been working closely with our marketing team to rebrand Greenfield Industries as a leader in sustainable manufacturing. We're also exploring partnerships with eco-friendly startups to diversify our product line. It's exciting work, and I feel like I'm finally able to make a real difference in the company my grandfather built. Claire has been my biggest supporter through all of this. She's been helping me deal with the stress and reminding me to take care of myself. We've started a new Sunday tradition of unplugging completely and spending the day hiking or volunteering at the local animal shelter. It's been great for my mental health and for our relationship. For the first time in my life, I feel truly happy and at peace. I have an amazing fiancé, a challenging career opportunity ahead of me, and a circle of friends and family who genuinely care about me. If my parents and Owen want to wallow in their bitterness, that's their choice. I'm moving forward with my life and focusing on the positive relationships and opportunities I have.